case, it was a full suite of Oracle applications and platform in order to really reimagine their business and have impact not just on work, but on life, where we see real examples of people seeing breakthroughs, leveraging technologies. And again, behind every one of these stories is the people, and behind the people is the technology that enables them. Behind these stories, the stories that we're going to share with you today, is Oracle Cloud, helping people drive real breakthroughs, real innovation, and ultimately real transformation. And I think any discussion of cloud has to start with this transformation we're seeing. You guys have been writing about it for quite some time now. Cloud is changing everything. It's changing how businesses run and people work. It's creating new categories. It's disrupting existing categories. It's happening at this incredible pace. And as we know, it's here today. And as we think about transformation, well, we do think about it differently. If you look at sort of Gen 1 cloud 10 years ago, that was about, let me move my storage for my prem and let me rent some storage in your cloud. So it's just about sort of lifting and shifting data, or let me take an application and just move that to cloud. And that's okay, but ultimately that's status quo, right? That doesn't allow us change how we innovate, change the insights we get. It's not about moving the data, it's about what do we do with the data now that we've moved it. So when we think of transformation, we think about it bigger and more holistically. And when you look at transformation, it really is these emerging technologies that are helping us to drive transformation in incredible ways. And we're seeing these permeate every aspect of work and life, from self-driving cars to precision agriculture to personalized medicine to smart cities that are fundamentally changing the way we experience the world around us. But what we find is, I think this is something Oracle's very focused on, and it'll come through across the 2 days, that we're helping to make these a reality. This is no longer about folks in a lab that's experimenting with AI or machine learning or IoT or digital assistants. It's about deploying mission critical workloads that have elements of these integrated in. Or it's about Oracle doing the hard work to integrate machine learning to give you the world's only self-driving database, to integrate machine learning into our security offering, to integrate machine learning, IoT, and digital assistants into our supply chain technology, our ERP technology. And we'll cover that. So we have this incredible opportunity in front of us. The building blocks that are fundamental to innovation are there and available today. However, with opportunity, comes challenges. We all sort of know that. If you're on a path with no obstacles, it's probably not worth following. It's at least what I tell my kids when they're having a hard day at school, right? But no challenges are just more greater than risk. As we think about moving our mission critical to workloads, we need to think through and have, if not the same, much better security posture as we move sensitive data to the cloud. The risks are real. As we become more connected, the threats become more real. With a larger surface area, the threats become increasingly complex and difficult to understand. And these bad actors, often state-sponsored, are using these same emerging technologies to wage a highly sophisticated war against us. Right? The threats are real. Let's just look at some of them. You look at some recent hacks. You had Equifax, 143 million records. That was due to an unpatched database. Imagine a system that would not let that remain unpatched. Capital One was 100 million records, and that was due to unencrypted data, and it was an internal attack. Suprema is actually a world powerhouse in biometric information. They lost 28 million fingerprints, iris, and other biometric data because of an unencrypted database. So the threats are real. Every day we hear more about them. I just want to share a couple other stats with you. It's interesting. We often talk about perimeter defense. In 70% of the cases where a breach occurs, it happens internal to a company. So you need a defense in-depth strategy that thinks through it at the physical layer, infrastructure layer, data layer, application layer, and the user identity layer. In 85% of the cases where a breach occurred, there was a patch that was already available for that breach up to a year before it happened. People just can't get around to doing it, right? They just can't keep up with it. And 100%, I just like to put that up there to remind me when I talk about a shared security model with our customers. That's the amount of times you have to get it right against the bad guys, right? They only need to get it right once, and they could be into the corporate crown jewels. And so how do we reconcile these seemingly competing forces of wanting to drive innovation, wanting to drive transformation, needing to reduce costs and at the same time reduce risks? You know, Autonomous is a platform that allows us to do it. It allows us to automate many core tasks so we can save money and we can actually put that towards innovation. It allows us to get faster time to insights when you're looking at the data warehousing capabilities or transact in ways you weren't able to do before. And ultimately with machine learning built in and things like self-patching, and we'll talk about other things like automated monitoring and remediation that are ML-based and integrated with this platform, we can reduce risk. Reduce cost, reduce risk, focus on innovation. Those are pretty compelling. Ultimately, this is actually a quote from Larry like 20 years ago. You know, we believe it's the job of the technology provider to do the integration. How do we do the upfront work? How do we do things like automating core tasks so you can spend more time on what matters the most to your company? Whether that's innovation, operational efficiency, customer experience, internal employee experience, focus on those things. And you know, we have your back on the others. So that's really been our approach. And I think, you know, I read so many of your guys' work and I get a chance to meet with many customers. And the cloud conversation is changing, right? I think 5 years ago, it was still a little about, well, what's cloud? Why do I want to use it? And it's really got to the how. I get that some part of my environment is going to be cloud. Maybe not everything overnight. Maybe this app needs to move, but this back-end custom app, I don't want to move that anytime soon. Whatever that path to cloud might be, we can help them with the how. And again, there's no two journeys are the same. You know, there's different entry points. I might be starting with DR, I might be starting with an application, I might be starting with analytics or app dev or security for ID access management. Whatever that starting point, we have a solution for them. And in order to have a solution that meets all their needs, you know, you have to step back and think about cloud more holistically. So when we look at cloud, there's really three core components to it. It's the intelligent applications where we've embedded things like machine learning, like IoT, like chatbots and others into our cloud applications. I'll talk about that. The next major area for us is the database. Again, integrated AI delivers self-serving, self-securing, self-driving. And then foundational to all of this is our infrastructure. All of our applications, all of our technology, our services run on a Gen 2 foundational infrastructure that's purpose-built for new apps, for AI, for autonomous, for things like high-performance computing workloads. Vinay's coming on after me. He's going to take you through a lot of great examples of what we're doing there, how it's differentiated. And of course, we understand that cloud is a journey. We continue to support our customers on-prem, so we can provide a complete choice in terms of what they need to deploy today and what they can deploy going forward with a future path to cloud. And by the way, these on-prem building blocks are the same that we use to build our own cloud services. So that's the overall strategy. So I thought I'd just go through each one of these quickly, highlight some customers. So the